Welcome to the show. Today's episode is going to be a little different. We're going to have an opening monologue by myself, then a cooking session by Kat, then a cooking session by myself, and perhaps a trip up to Margaritaville. Enjoy the show and have a fantastic day. Welcome to the show and a fantastic morning to all you kind people in San Pedro, on the island of Ambergris Caye, in the country of Belize, and around the world. Thanks for tuning in. I know there's about 3 million podcasts you could watch, a couple hundred more million television shows. There's so much information out there. But this is my 9th show, and it may or may not be my last. As you know, it started out as the Dr. Fantastic Show, and with the addition of my co-host, Kat, it became the Be Fantastic Show. And that's where the show is I want my audience to be fantastic, to be happy, to live a happy life, to enjoy my advice, learn from my mistakes. I made a lot of mistakes in my life, of course, we all do. So the reason it might be my last is there's some confusion out there. This should have been my first episode, explaining who I am, what I'm about. If you can see through my eyes, and you might agree with my philosophy. I've got over 6,600 people agreeing with the 3 commitments to kindness. And they will solve all your problems if you follow them, and they'll make the world a better and kinder place. So whether this show ends or not, you could always go to Be Fantastic YouTube, where I've got over 1,900 videos, 25 states in America, my first leg of the journey, Ukraine, Egypt, Turkey, a few other places. And what I'm trying to do is share my wisdom, share the fantastic experiences of the people I've met, places I've been. I've been on the planet for 69 years now, and I've had the most amazing life. So maybe to explain who I am might be the smartest thing at this point. And I'm just a regular guy that is out to prove that no matter what you want to do in life, and if you manifest it, and if you think positive, and if you believe in yourself and love yourself, you can accomplish it. Now, a fun probably YouTube episode coming up is my sister. I'm going to interview my sister, a couple years older than me. We came out of the same womb, but she went a completely opposite path of what I did. She had kind of a nurturing foster home, which I didn't. She went to school, which I didn't. She took the path of an education and became a marriage, family, child counselor for the deaf and for others for 35 years. So she stayed at one thing, and she did it very well. I didn't stay at one thing because I can't stand to do the same thing over and over again. Maybe that's why 9 episodes is enough on this show. But people aren't getting what this show is about. I say it's about life, love, and the pursuit of happiness. Life, well, the first segment of the shows, because Lord Dan wanted segments. I don't take kindly to instruction or being told what to do. So that's one of the reasons why this show may or may not exist in the future. But it will exist on Be Fantastic YouTube. So I tried the format deal, They wanted formats. Okay, so the first segment on life was about food. Without food, we wouldn't have life. And Kat that's the best part of the show, in my opinion. Her cooking, her personality, she's fantastic. And so that was the first section, food. Whether I cooked or she cooked, or we found another restaurant in town and talked to them about cooking, eating, and what have you. Second part was about the island. I interviewed people, the iguana guy, and others, Abner, the ambulance guy, many people, talk about island life. I took you, which I still may do, on a journey far north, where very few golf carts dare to go. You break down on the 4 hours we were off the road. We saw one other golf cart, and you break down out there, and you're in big trouble. But anyway, so that's a video I made. I make a lot of videos, like I said, over 1,900 on the Be Fantastic channel. Now, so Lord Dan on our 8th episode said maybe you just record it at home, edit it, because he didn't like the fact that I came in at the last minute and said, let's do this. No, let's do that. I like throwing people curves. Most people are used to just doing the same thing every day, day in and day out, and they're used to that. There's no pressure, there's no stress, in theory, and they do their thing. Recently, I learned I was a fool. The last episode, I played a clip on what is a fool, and I'm very, very proud to say that I'm a fool, because I have taken chances, which fools do. I don't look to the and worry about the future, which fools do. I was the class clown, which fools are. I'm outspoken, which a fool is. So I do a lot of foolish things, but according to history, a fool is a fantastic person. He was the court jester in medieval times. I love to entertain people, but I'm on a journey now of sharing the incredible life I've had. I've had 3 sets of parents, natural, step, and foster. I didn't get much love as a child, so I'm trying to also prove that even if you didn't get love, that's no excuse not to give love. I raised 2 wonderful sons. They are so happy. They're so well balanced. And when I grow up, I want to be just like them. Because my wife would always say, when are you going to grow up? And I'd say, never. Because I don't have to. I don't have to follow the rules. I won't follow the rules. I never will follow the rules. So if you enjoy watching this, please like, subscribe, and share, because you can gain a lot from my mistakes, from my experiences. Again, I've met the richest people on the planet. I've met world leaders like Ronald Reagan, personally called me when he was governor. I've met the smartest people, nuclear physicists, scientists, quantum physicists, doctors, nurses, Indian chiefs. I have been on $300 million yachts, which most people may or may not have been. I've traveled in private jets, which many people may or may not have done. These are great experiences. Jumped out of an airplane. I think when you do things for the first time in your life, they're fantastic. The birth of my first son, fantastic. Jumping out of an airplane, fantastic. Flying an airplane, I'm a private pilot, fantastic. Captaining a yacht, fantastic. Life is so full of things you can do, and I still want to do more things. Many people say you should not tell people how many things you've done. It doesn't look well. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care about your opinion, because your opinion has an agenda for you, not for me. I know I'm doing the right thing. I know that my advice works, or I wouldn't have 6,600 people plus following the 3 commitments to kindness, which I'm going to talk about again and again, because some people have been ambassadors for over a year, and they finally got how important this philosophy is. It literally solves all mankind's problems, the 3 commitments to kindness. Used to be 4 commitments, but I said humans aren't too bright. This isn't about you. In generalities, I always speak in generalities. There's a lot of stupid people on the planet. And I'm not going to help the geniuses. I'm not going to help the real brilliant minds out there. I'm going to help the layman, because I don't use big words. I keep it real simple. 3 philosophies. These 3 philosophies, if you follow them, and many people do, will make you look better, because it makes you smile. Will make you feel better, because it releases endorphins by saying the word fantastic. And endorphins, dopamine, and serotonin, these neural messaging units that are great, good feelings. The smile releases stress because of those endorphins. Less stress, you're going to be healthier. When you say you're fantastic to someone, or to tell them they're fantastic, you both smile. Whenever you smile, you live 5 minutes longer. When you laugh, an hour longer. So if someone laughs when they ask me how I am, and I say I'm fantastic, I just made them live an hour longer. They might look at me as a fool or an idiot or whatever, however they want to. It's okay. When I get up on stage and dance or try to sing, I'm doing it for me. I don't need the applause of the audience. Matter of fact, one time in Vegas at a private party at Hard Rock Cafe, 1,000 people booed my singing. Do you think I walked off stage, sculpted off stage, and dragged my head low? No, I stood up there and sang, what was it, not Frank Sinatra, My Way, which is my favorite. I sang Mac the Knife. And I had the greatest time, but I don't think many people in their lives have been booed live by 1,000 people. I'm not exaggerating. It was over 1,000 people in that huge venue. But I sang it, and at the end they all applauded, I think because I was done. But I want to share these experiences. I want to share being at the Academy Awards. I want to share the Cannes Film Festival experiences. Best party on the planet. I want to share meeting the incredible people I've interviewed. And most people agree with me. They get caught up in the system. They go to school, they get a job, they get married, they have kids, they work their whole life, and they go into retirement. That's the system. And my parents died in the 30s, so they didn't make it to retirement. And if you die before retirement, after working your whole life and saving, then you really screwed the pooch, in my opinion. These are my opinions. They call me Dr. Fantastic because I have the prescription for a happier and longer life. And like I said, maybe this should have been the first episode of the Dr. Fantastic show, which is now Be Fantastic. And so now let me just go through the 3 commitments for those new of you. Again, if you like what you hear and it helps you, and it's helped many people, like, subscribe, share. It's all about sharing. Sharing it with one person, it would be fantastic. The first commitment, the most important commitment, and the hardest commitment in everyone's life is to be kind to themselves, to love themselves. How can you expect someone to love you if you don't love yourself? The analogy I love, and you've heard it a million times for you people who have been watching the show for a while, when you're flying in an airplane, many people haven't, so they don't know this analogy, but when you're flying in an airplane, the flight attendant will say, if the oxygen mask drops due to pressurization of the aircraft, put it on first, then help others. Because if you're dead, if you're not happy or not well, you can't be of help to anyone. So you come first. A lot of people say, my wife comes first, my kids come first. If you're not there, how can they come first? You have to be alive. So to be kind to yourself is to love yourself, is to be positive, is to know every move you made in your life was the correct one. Making this video is the correct move in my life to make. 69 years of every move being correct. Because if I can't think that if I not did this video, or I've not went to Egypt, or I've not left my wife, or I've not left America, what the consequences would have been. That's negative thinking. I didn't do that, so I've got to believe that every move I've made is correct. And I've enriched a lot of people's lives. I'm very proud of it. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying most people need to hear kind words. And so I had 180 WhatsApp groups where I shared motivational quotes from famous people in history. And I still do that to a smaller degree because sometimes you wonder if the universe is against you. And, if you think it is, then you're stressing yourself. And I don't believe in stress. I believe stress is all your fault. So I lost 180 groups, thousands of ambassadors. They're still there if I can contact them one at a time. But everything happens in life as it should, when it should. So this is an introduction to the Be Fantastic show. Me, Monty Cook III, not a doctor. That's my stage name. I'm actually learning a lot about myself since I've been on the island. Kat, who is into conscious minds and meditation and the shadow and all kind of interesting new things that I'm learning about. Because, see, I blocked my mind to listening to any psychologist. I didn't read any books. I didn't go to school. I hitchhiked around the world at 17 for my education. So I'm coming from a different spot. And my vision is something I don't think many people have. Because if you're born in a poor environment, you have that poor eyesight, that poor vision, prism, and you can't see it as a rich person. So I was born as a rich person in Beverly Hills, so I had a little bit of insight of how the wealth worked, and I met the richest in the world, as I said. Then, after my parents died, and my step-parents died, I was fostered and went into middle-class America, which is a whole different mindset and a different prism. So I can relate to everybody, and I have related to everyone in the last 69 years, and I treat everyone the same. I call them by their first names. I don't say sir. I don't say mister. Everyone has a first name, and I call you by it. If you have a problem with that, that's your problem, not my problem. So I treat everyone the same. We all have to wipe our ass when we go to the bathroom. Unless you have one of those nice toilets that wash it for you. Or I don't know, does the queen or the kings, do they have someone wipe their butt? I don't know. But I do like to know about everything. I am so curious. I'm like a little kid, who is a fool, by the way, fools are little kids, that want to know about everything. And I've been watching the last couple months a lot of YouTube, a lot of conscious. I am growing. I opened my mind. I said, okay, there's more stuff out there. Learned about a guy named Carl Jung, incredible human being. So I'm hoping that all those new information absorbs in here, because my mind is like a glass of water that's totally full. If I want to put any more information in it, it's going to overflow, and I don't know what's going to overflow because, see, I have a memory problem. And I shouldn't say that, because if you think you have a memory problem, you do. If you think you're handsome, you are. If you think you're ugly, you are. Again, René Descartes, the French philosopher, brilliant guy. I think, therefore I am. I am. Two of the most important words in the English language. Now, I give a lot of great advice, and sometimes I don't follow my advice. Do I look into the mirror every morning and say, I am fantastic, I am happy, I am successful, I am beautiful? No, I don't do that. I should do that. And when you do that, please do that, your subconscious will be eventually convinced that you're fantastic, that you're beautiful, that you're healthy, that you're successful. And what is success? It's what you believe, not what someone else's believe. It's not having money that makes you successful. Just the other day, I met a brilliant guy on YouTube. He had all the trappings of life, the private cars, the private jets, the family, the big mansion, and he was clinically depressed. And to me, and he probably even had he did. He had a happy childhood. I have no clue what a happy childhood even looks like, because I didn't have a happy childhood. But I made my children a fantastic childhood, because I knew if they had to go through what I went through, they'd be miserable. And maybe I am miserable, but I don't say I'm miserable. I say I'm happy. And that's the whole purpose of life, to be happy. And that's why I think my Be Fantastic YouTube show, if one person watches it, and a lot of people don't watch it because most people who are my ambassadors are very wealthy and very successful and very busy. And what kills me is I sent those 6,600 ambassadors every day a motivational quote from someone in history that hopefully inspires them, makes them smile, makes them think, and improves their life. But you know what a lot of people do? They say they don't have time to watch it. They don't have time to read a quote from someone famous. I don't blame them if they don't read my quotes. My quotes are okay. But to not take 20 seconds of your life to read a motivational quote from someone who went through the energy to do that is a travesty, in my opinion. They could have opened up their life and maybe changed their life that day. But everyone does the same thing. They wake up the same way. They turn off the alarm clock the same way. They take the shower the same way. They get dressed the same way. They drive to work the same way. They do the work the same way. They go home the same way. They have the meal the same way. They have watch the same programs on television, the news, maybe a movie. They go to sleep the same way. And you're convincing, according to the great philosophers I'm listening to, you're not even thinking anymore. It's an automatic. So you should take a different route to work. You should, even the guy I met here on the island said, watch what happens when you dry yourself off differently than you normally do every day. I can't stand routine. I can't stand the word average. I can't stand the word budget. I can't stand the word normal. And I've never been any of those, and I never will be. So what does my future hold for me? I have no clue. Do I have a savings account to retire on, or a retirement? No. Because I know I could survive. And surviving, like I did in Egypt, the first couple of months, I lived in a hovel with no hot water. And it was a great experience. I could live in a hovel and be happy. I could live in a mansion and be happy. Money does not buy happiness. Self-awareness, self-confidence. I don't talk about religion, but I'm learning God is in everybody. God is in everything. We are one in the universe. Quantum entanglement is way above my pay grade still, but it does exist. It's been proven. It's an amazing world we're living in. AI is going to come in and have a problem. But so getting back to the first commitment to kindness, eating healthy, exercising, not drinking too much. Anything in excess is bad. Drinking, eating, exercising, running, everything in excess is bad. Moderation is really a great key. I know I don't moderate. As I say, don't do as I say. Don't do as I do as I say. And I've abused my body. It's almost like I have a death threat, or a death, not death threat, a death wish. because I've jumped out of airplanes. I've risked my life. I've driven motorcycles at incredibly stupid speeds. I've totaled a few new cars. I should have died in my El Camino in the 80s. Doctors couldn't believe I lived through a 95-mile-an-hour accident with just losing my nose. And drunks live through accidents, by the way, because they're relaxed. And you should relax in life. Don't take life so serious. Enjoy life. Get out of the rat race. Right now, what is it? It is noon here in Belize, so it's 9 o'clock in the morning in California. Millions of people are on the 405, the 5, the 10, the 101, the 110, all these freeways that are in Los Angeles and around the world, in Dallas and Paris and everywhere else. It's stuck in traffic, swearing at the person next to them, honking horns. I lived in Cairo. More horn honking there than I've ever experienced in any of the places I've been in the world. I've experienced a lot of stuff, and I'm here to share it with you, because a lot of people, when COVID started, that's when I started my journey around the world, couldn't leave their home. So I was their conduit to what's life looking like out there. And I'm still that conduit. What is life like in Belize? What was life like in Egypt, in Turkey, the different places that I've been, around America. Oh, my God. One day I'll edit all those 1,900 videos, or someone will. I don't have the patience. Into something that's really exciting and valuable and insightful and entertaining. But for the meantime, I'm going to, my first 500 days on the road, I made at least one video a day. And it was, it was COVID, so it was a lot of advice. Learn how to cook. Cook with the family. Grow a garden. Watch a comedy. Don't watch the news. Lots and lots and lots of advice. And I give advice. Take it or leave it. This is the thing about the kindness philosophy. I could tell you all day long to be kind to yourself, others, and the planet. But unless you want to do it, I can't force you to do it. I can only introduce you to 3 commitments that will change your life, that will change humanity's future. So the first goes even deeper, how to be kind to yourself. Meditate is being kind to yourself. Taking your shoes off and walking on sand, dirt, or the ground is called earthing or grounding. That's very healthy. Thinking positive is probably the healthiest thing you could do in your life. Get rid of negative people and thinking in your life, because they're cancerous. And it goes on and on and on. How to be kind to yourself. You come first. Trust me. Now, the second commitment to kindness. I kept it real simple, only 3 commitments. Be kind to everyone else, to all others, and God's creatures. I don't usually say God's creatures. I usually say Earth's creatures, but I'll throw God in there. A lot of people like God. And that means you don't kick a dog, you pet a dog. You don't buy ivory. If you stop buying ivory, they stop killing elephants. You say kind words to people like, thank you, please, you're welcome, or you're fantastic. Those are really kind words. How many people don't say thank you now? It's horrendous. Open doors for strangers. Let people in traffic. Don't honk at people. People honk, and I swear I've been in so many situations. They think they're slowing down on purpose to screw with them. I'm thinking maybe he spilled coffee, or she, on their lap, or just got some bad news, or is having a traumatic experience. Give them 5 seconds. Give them a little consideration. But that horn honking goes on. Do you honk at friends? No. Being kind to people. It goes really deep, Do random acts of kindness. I could tell you so many stories about random acts of kindness that I've witnessed, that I still do. It's really great. I once in Egypt cleaned up the local trash area because it was outside my apartment. It was disgusting. I did it for me, but I also did it for the community. People saw it. You go, he really is kind. And people say I'm a scammer. Oh, yeah, a big scammer. I never asked for a dime. I know, actually, just first time in my life I asked for $20 to support the cause here. First time in my life. And I got one person to give me $20. Yeah, it was fantastic. 6,000 ambassadors. One person coughed up with two cups of coffee. And thank you, David Goddard, for doing that, by the way. Let me think. Sometimes I get sidetracked because all my 1,900 videos are never scripted. They're never rehearsed. They're never edited. It's me speaking from the heart. So I'm going to bring in my co-host in a little while, and we're going to do another cooking episode and talk together about life, love, and the pursuit of happiness. Again, I talked about life. It's cooking. I think it's great. Love. Well, come on. Well, all we need is love. Love yourself, love others, love the planet. And then the pursuit of happiness. If you're not happy, what the hell are you doing in life? You're making yourself miserable by thinking negative thoughts, by not loving yourself. It's all up here. Joe Dispenza says it starts with a thought, which creates an emotion, which creates an action, which creates a result. I mean, I didn't memorize it yet, somewhat along those lines. It all becomes with a thought. It's the mind. It's all in the mind. If you think you're ugly and the world testifies that you're the handsomest guy or prettiest girl on the planet, you think you're ugly. So you're ugly in your mind. It's ridiculous. If you think you're successful, you are. You don't need money to be successful. You need happiness to be successful. Happy people are successful people. The poorest people on the planet are the most successful and the happiest. And I've met the poorest. I've been in the poorest area in the world. You just can't imagine how poor they are. And they sit around the fire and they sing. They don't watch television. There's some civilizations that don't have electricity, that don't know that there's traffic jams and satellites and people going to Mars and all the crazy things that humans are doing. My wife used to say, "You're not from this planet." And I thought it was a put down, but in the last few months I realized it's a compliment. I'm happy not to be from Earth because we are so low on the evolutionary scale. We got the aliens coming here since we were even existing, and they're helping us. They're here to help. They're not going to destroy our world. Supposedly they came here to help us. They impregnated us. And anyway, I don't want to get into that. But I did want to say that I may or may not do the show again. I'm not sure how long I talked for. I should have timed it. But the universe is somewhat against me. I lost my wallet and my money. So that makes this month very, very tough. On this camera, it would stop at 10 minutes, so I don't even know if it's recording. Sometimes the audio didn't work. I lost the camera function for a while. The memory function, I just deleted thousands of pictures by mistake. Is the universe against me? Is the universe saying enough is enough? Nobody wants to hear from you? Because I didn't get much feedback from the Dr. Fantastic show. One or two people said they liked it. People said, well, what's it about? What's it about? It's a guy talking about life, love, and the pursuit of happiness. How can I explain it more than that? It's a talk show. It's a variety show. It's not a scripted show. I'm not going to do the segments anymore. I'm going to talk like this, but how many times can you hear this? Some people need to hear it more than once. And this is going to go onto YouTube as well. So I'm just thinking YouTube is easier. See, my life has to be easy. I use this thing called Vlog It. Quite literally, all the videos you've seen or will see maybe in the future on this Be Fantastic YouTube channel are camera edited. That means what I shot is I posted. I didn't sit there for hours or days and putting sound effects in and captions and making it look pretty and editing. No, because that's not what I'm about. The people that are following this show, my ambassadors, my friends, do it because they think it's a pretty crazy journey. They want to see what happens in this incredible journey. I'm excited to see what's going to happen. I go where I'm invited. That's why I'm here in Belize. I may go back to Egypt. It's an easy life there. The money's doubled since I was there. It was 15 pounds to the dollar. Now it's 35 to 40 pounds per dollar. I was living comfortable there without working. I can go there now and live even more comfortably. Beaches are better. Nobody speaks English, which was kind of rough. They speak English here. There's fantastic people here. I'm helping the island, I think. As you might know, there's BelizeIsFantastic.com, which rewards and thanks the 500 plus ambassadors on the island with discounts. One day, maybe around the world, you could show your sticker and get discounts around the world for being a kind person. I like when everybody wins. I don't do projects where Monty wins or Dr. Fantastic wins. I do projects where everybody wins. If you're listening this far into this thing, I think you've maybe learned a thing or two, or you might agree or you might disagree. But if you are agreeing, hit like, subscribe, and share. It's all about sharing the knowledge that you have. And I still want to learn. That's why I'm watching a lot of videos now. There's so much information. It's mind-boggling how much information there is out there about the universe, about the quantum entanglement, and I have to keep reminding myself about this because there's so much stuff out there. I'm not going to be an expert in anything but kindness and human behavior. I think I know human behavior very well. I'm a grandfather, a great-grandfather, worked in nearly every trade there is. I said nearly, not all. I've been to some amazing places. Hitchhiking around the world without a dime in your pocket's not easy. A fool does that. But was it the right move? Yes, it was a fantastic move. I did some amazing things back then. Amazing. I had a college education back then because they didn't have the computers. So I told them what they wanted to hear. I did the job they wanted me to do. Everybody was happy. And then when I got bored, I left. Because everyone tells you how to do what you're supposed to know how to do because they have their own way of doing it. It was a little bit of a lie. It was a fib, but nobody got hurt. Don't lie, steal, or cheat. That's the second commitment, Lying never watch these movies. When someone lies, it becomes a snowball. Cheat, you don't have to. I call it the game of life. You don't need to lie, steal, or cheat to win. There's a saying, great saying. If you must lie, steal, or cheat, well, lie next to the one that you love. Steal away from bad company and cheat death. Great saying. I can't remember. I can remember that. I do remember a few things. And the sayings, believe me, I'm not saying anything new in life. I'm just rearranging it to a simple way. Remember 3 commitments and you'll be better off. The 4th commitment was say kind words, which is very important to do. Kind words matter. They say Black Lives Matter. Words matter. Words are so important because words affect water, and we're 70% water. Look at the Kyoto water study. Amazing. So say kind words. But you don't say kind words to your coffee. You say kind words to people and animals, and that's commitment too. Be kind to others.
Welcome back to the show. We had a little technical difficulty. I wasn't sure how many minutes I got on camera, but it was 32 minutes. And now I'm joined by my co-host, Kat, a.k.a. Vicky Catarina Barcelona.
I'm finally in the director's chair.
So, as I mentioned before, this may or may not be my last show. But the good news is, no matter what, we're going to continue with her in the kitchen, whether we do it for the TV show or for her own network on YouTube. Now, I know we're going to go now, after this little introduction, to the kitchen, where she's going to cook up another fantastic meal. But I got to tell you, the last 2 days, she did the most magnificent meals without any work whatsoever. She did the crock pot recipe. The first night was braised short ribs, or?
Braised short ribs over mashed potatoes.
Explain real quickly how you just threw it together and for 6 hours and cooked it.
Well, I don't want to heat the house up, and I got to go work all day, so I take those short ribs, I roll them in flour and spices, brown them in oil, because once you get that brown crust, that's where all the flavor comes from. Throw them in the crock pot. I still had my collagen broth left, so I threw that in there in the crock pot. A little bit of tomato sauce, some complete saison, some carrots, some onions.
Little bitty carrots.
Little bitty baby carrots from the States.
Yeah.
They're actually big carrots, so they tumble into little carrots.
Baby.
Shut that puppy, let it cook for about 4 or 5 hours. Whipped up some mashed potatoes, served it on top of that.
I made the mashed potatoes, by the way.
Yeah, they were almost as good as my short ribs. But the co-creation was amazing. Last night I did chicken thighs.
Yeah. Then she did chicken thighs the next day. Explain that one. These were off the charts.
Threw the chicken thighs in a pot, bunch of spices, a little bit of water, put the lid on and waited for those thighs to just fall apart. Took the lid off, reduced the liquid down, and we've got a whole Tupperware full of chicken thigh meat, seasoned. It's
rather than just say a bunch of spices, what spices did you use, please?
Salt, pepper, garlic, cumin, my Cavenders. I love that complete saison. There's also a little packet that's a consommé beef with tomato I love that too. Sometimes I add that to my crock pot. I did not add that to my chicken thighs, but I did add that to my braised short ribs.
Now, this young lady has been teaching me consciousness of meditation, of spirituality, patience, a lot of different things. And
shadow work.
Shadow work, exactly. And I've got to think that I don't know if the universe is against me or just need to reevaluate what I'm doing, because both my phones can't charge after having many, many problems with them. As you know, I lost my wallet and the money and the driver's license and all that other good stuff. She, what happened with you? You lost a little thing the other day?
I lost my car keys.
Lost her car keys, literally from at Wine Divine. We went from the cart inside, which is 10 feet, and we looked everywhere, couldn't find them. But
well, I believe the universe is offering him another path.
Yeah, maybe.
He's not listening. Sometimes the universe has to slam a door in your face for you to see that all the windows are open.
Yeah. So without further ado, let's join Kat in the kitchen, where she's going to whip up another fantastic dish. Thanks for watching. If you like what we're doing, subscribe, like, and share. And one of the reasons I may not do the show is I'm not hearing about anybody, whether they're liking it or not. So I'm not going to spend my energy if it's not helping people.
Is there anybody out there?
Yeah, is there anybody out there? Comment, like, share. Let us know that you're watching and that you don't or do like it. So it's okay. I have tough skin, right? If they say that they don't like me and they just want Kat, fantastic. I'll be behind camera. No, I don't have a problem with it. I just want everyone to be kind. You know, that's all my thing.
This is a show of kindness.
Yes. Anyway, to the kitchen, everybody.
Woo! Good morning, San Pedranos. I hope you're hungry. Today I have a really special recipe. This was given to me by Chef Amy Knox from Wild Mangoes, which was my favorite restaurant on the entire island. I often went and sat there just by myself with my waiter Albert and ate everything I could possibly shove down my face. Chef Amy's no longer here. She took her family to Florida, I believe Sarasota, and she has opened up a beautiful restaurant where she is the chef de cuisine there. And I am going to be so kind as to share the recipe for Azteca Boudin, which she shared with me, which was my favorite dish on the entire menu. So, mole. Let's talk about mole. I already emptied it out into a pot. Mole is from the Oaxaca and Puebla regions. It's a sauce. It's more of a gravy. It's made with nuts, seeds, fruits, chilies, and even chocolate. And it's ground down into a very, very, very thick paste. And you buy it in this jar called mole. Pull it out of the jar, stick it in a pot, add about 4 cups of water. This whole pot is mole sauce. This one little jar makes 4 cups of this delicious gravy, which we're going to use as a tomato-based sauce, kind of like lasagna, but in our Azteca Boudin, which is made with tortillas. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to chop up our vegetables. This is the chocho. It's actually a Caribbean vegetable. It's a strange fruit because it really doesn't have a lot of flavor. I call it, it's a vegetable, sorry. Could be a fruit, I don't know. It's like tofu, it's like chicken, takes on the flavor of anything you want to put with it. And I'm just showing you how to chop it. I already have 1 or 2, maybe this is my 3rd, chopped up. You really only need about a cup of chocho for the recipe. I like a little bit more. Peel that bad boy, get that skin off, and what you're going to find inside is a big seed, somewhat like what you have in a mango. It's a little hard. You can cut that right out. You can't eat it. It's too fibrous. Chop her on up. The chocho winds up actually being my favorite vegetable in the entire dish. Something beautiful about the texture. Oh, and the fact that it takes on the flavor of everything I'm about to put in there. Take that other seed out. chopping. I did a lot of prep work this time, so you don't have to watch me just chop all morning long. Well, actually, my assistant did some prep work for me. Okay, I've almost got my cho-cho chopped. And now you know what that crazy looking vegetable is. It's amazing. It's kind of like a squash in texture, maybe potato, a squash. Cut this piece up too. Why not? The more the merrier. So not only do I have the cho-cho, but what I also have is 4 ears of corn that I just cut the kernels right off the cob, 4 tomatoes, 3 onions. Probably not going to use all those onions, but I've got something else prepped later for today. I'm going to start off, I've already got my oven heating, and put a little oil in there. I've got my El Patio corn tortillas, which you can pick up at any convenience store. And all I'm going to do is just quickly heat them up in a little bit of oil just to soften them. If you have some day-old tortillas that are really stale, hard and crunchy, and you don't know how to re-moisten them, you can put them in a Ziploc bag and put a little water in there and heat them right up. Or stale tortillas are perfect for this dish. So what I've done now is I've got my tortillas heated. As you can see, they're all soft and pliable. And the reason we heat them is because they'll disintegrate. They'll actually disintegrate in the dish. So now I'm going to actually cook my vegetable medley up. Woo, woo, woo. I'm going to use some butter. Chef Amy calls for about 5 tablespoons. I eyeball everything, as you know. I'm going to add my cho-cho. Yummy, yummy, yummy. I'm adding all the cho-cho because it's kind of like the meat in this dish. It is the texture. I'm going to add the corn. Beautiful. I'm going to add some tomatoes. And for flavor, get that onion in there. Now that's a lot of vegetables. So we're going to crank that on high. And while I'm cranking that on high, I'm going to show you how to, let's season it real quick. Salt. You know how I eyeball. I know what I like. Pepper. And then Chef Amy likes coriander. And coriander is actually the seed that cilantro grows. So a little coriander. Stir that up, and we're not gonna, I don't even really have to touch it. I'm just gonna let it cook down. Got my little Nutri-Chef in the way. Make sure she's still going. All right, I got my mole sauce. I've got my vegetables going. I've got my warmed up tortillas. And now we're gonna make what the creamy white part is. This is about a half cup of milk. And into it, I'm gonna add some cream cheese. Woo. Make it real easy. Who needs to follow the tear hair directions? Put it in there. My little Nutri-Chef. If you don't have a blender, just whip it up by hand. If you got a food processor, you can put it in there. Cream cheese. I'm using a whole pack of cream cheese. She calls for 8 ounces, and woo, a whole pack is 8 ounces. So I got a half a cup of milk, 2 cups of sour cream. Yummy, 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 yummy. Where's my spoon? I gotta get all that in there. Ugh. I get real excited when I cook. All right. This is trash. Actually, it's not. I'll reuse that container. like most people here in San Pedro, we don't throw anything away. I got a couple garlic cloves, which I'm also going to throw in my white sauce. You don't even have to chop them up. Just throw them right on in there because the blender's going to do all that chopping for you. Those little buggers in there. I've got 2 in there. I got to get my spinny top. Put that on top. And just blend, blend, blend. Beautiful. And now, we'll check on our vegetables. See how they're doing. Come here, guy. We're going to take a quick break and we're going to be right back, and I'm going to show you how to assemble this beautiful dish. Okay, we're back. I got these vegetables reduced. I didn't want to sit there and have you watch me cook down vegetables. It took about 6 minutes to cook this. You don't want to cook it down into where it just crumps down and dissolves. We want it crunchy, light, crisp, fresh. We were talking about my sour cream container. I got all my vegetables in here, okay? Because we live on an island, we want to talk about sustainability and being kind to the planet. And we save and we recycle and we reuse. I don't want this in a landfill. I'm one of those stoopers that'll drive by and pick up your plastic container, possibly use it. I've even taken my own to-go container to the restaurants to put my food in. My little mole jar, look at that. I got a cute little vase. A champagne brut cup, but just be kind. It goes back to being kind to yourself, being kind to others, and being kind to the planet. I know you don't want to see this crap on the side of the road, nor do I. All right, let's put this together. Now, I'm going to start with putting, just like the lasagna, I'm going to start by adding a little bit of mole sauce first to the bottom of the pan. And I'm going to do one quick thing, because my mole's gotten a little thick. Now, if your mole gets a little thick while it's been sitting and waiting, just add a little water to it, because there are a lot of nuts and seeds in there, so it's going to start to absorb and get a little bit thicker. And I want that mole not to get too thick when you're cooking it in the dish. When you pull it out, I want it to still have a gravy-like essence instead of it being all mottled and hard. So I'm going to go ahead again now. You can see that more. It's going to be now a little bit more like a tomato sauce. Yay, that's how I want it. Just smooth it right around. Got your mole down. Now you're going to take your tortillas.
How would you like to learn how to make a bird's nest hash brown with eggs in the middle and bacon and a little coffee? It's a great breakfast to start your day off. Welcome to another episode of Dr. Fantastic Cooks. This one will be hopefully a quick and easy and simple and delicious one. It's one I've never cooked before. It's breakfast. I'm just making my coffee here. Where is my coffee? Yeah. You know, they say don't always use the same cup. Don't always do the things the same way because you get into a habit, and habits aren't the greatest things on the planet. So I make a little coffee in the morning, differently, try to every once in a while. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. There's a saying that you should eat like a king in the morning, a commoner in the afternoon, and a pauper at night. So this is going to be not like a king. It's going to be a simple breakfast. But that's a good, because you need energy. So right now I'm cooking bacon, and with the grease from the bacon will be, instead of using butter, because I think it's going to make it more flavorful if I use the grease from the bacon. I'm going to make I don't know what it's called actually, but basically I saw this recipe, and it was, I think, a Chinese dish, and where you julienne the carrot, and you make a little nest egg, and you put the egg in the middle. So you have hash browns and what have you. So basically, start with a sharp knife. Always start with a sharp knife. Take this slow. So basically, if you cook this potato on its own, it's going to take a long time because it's got a lot of mass. And I've made potato chips. And if you slice it really thin, it cooks faster. So basically, you want to, in this recipe, you want to have a very thin julienne slice. And as you can see, I don't have to look down because I know where my finger is. It's curled in, so it is not going to get sliced. And, I do want to make it really thin, so I'm going to look at what I'm doing a little bit. And it's just, I'm cooking for one today. A lot of people won't cook. They say, oh, it's just for one. Cooking is fantastic. So there I'm going to julienne. Back to the bacon. I love bacon. Who doesn't love bacon? I think they have a bacon ice cream, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, some people love it real crispy, bacon. Some people don't like it as crispy. Cook as you like it, right? So now that I've got the little slices, you can see it should come out like this, even a little thinner. So then you take one of your slices like that, and then you, again, julienne it, very, very small, very thin, each one. Cooking's a little bit of work, but the end result is a delicious breakfast, lunch, or dinner. I've eaten 74,000 meals in my life. Looking forward to another 74,000. And sometimes they come out, sometimes they don't. That's why it's important to have a cocktail. Typically, I have a cocktail with each meal. I like my coffee mate. This one's Italian sweet cream. Coffee is nice in the morning. Looks like the bacon's almost done. I think it's called julienne. Anyway, so basically almost 1/8 of an inch. So it's very pliable. It'll cook faster that way. Almost have it all done here. And then I sliced one onion. I think the recipe I saw called for carrots in it, but I don't eat carrots in the morning. So, you can take a recipe and alter it as you like, I like onion. I don't cook anything without onion. So I have put onion in this recipe. And then there was some jalapeno sitting there. And I said, why not make it a little spicy? So it's going to be a spicy onion, potato, hash brown. Basically, it's a hash brown with an egg in the middle. I mean, who doesn't love hash browns, right? So I think I've got it all julienned here. You can see it's all julienned, just as I said. So then you put this in the bowl with the onions. Don't burn your bacon. Like I said, crispy's good. This looks pretty crispy. Okay, so now I've got the bacon sitting on paper towel, so it absorbs a lot of the fat. I'm going to take most of the juice and pour it into another bowl, which I will use to feed the dog. Waste nothing. So with a little bit of oil, I'm going to use a little grapeseed, just a touch. You don't want the pan too hot. I'm going to mix it all up like this. And then I'm going to reset the camera so you can see it cooking. And we'll go from there. So I'll be right back with the camera reset. Get it all in there. Don't waste food. Never waste food. There's a lot of starving people in the world. I'd be happy to have the food that we throw away. Be right. Okay, I'm back and the pan looks fairly hot. So what I'm going to do here, in theory, is make 2 nest eggs. We're going to call them nest eggs. I should probably have done 3. But like I said, this is my first time doing this. Now, you don't want to burn your fingers. So you want to make a little nest egg. And you know, how they did it on that recipe was very cool because it was like, anyway, presentation's important, you know. So it was a really nice presentation. So there I am. I think what you want to do is cook it pretty well first. See the little nest egg there? How's it look in the camera there? Yeah, you can see it. And again, it's on medium heat. You don't want to go too high, you'll burn everything. Let that cook for a minute. There's the bacon. Crispy, delicious. You could put a little butter in if you wanted to. Give it some more flavor. Get the spatula out. Again, it's going to cook faster because it's julienne. So I'm hoping it all stays together. You know what? I think I blew it on the recipe. I think I was supposed to put the egg whites in instead of oil, if I remember correctly. I guarantee it's still going to taste fantastic. Let's see what happens. Put an egg in the center there. One. Huge eggs. There we go. Keep it in there, in the center there. Try not to break the yolk. You're only going to turn it once. At this point, I'm going to put a little salt. Again, I use Himalayan salt. It's very powerful, so you don't want to use too much. I put pepper on everything. I already have the jalapeno in there. So it's already going to be spicy. And let's see what happens, you know. As you know, if you've been watching my cooking shows the last few years, I always have a cocktail. But it's just the morning, so instead of a Bloody Mary, I'm having a cup of coffee. Ah, delicious cup of coffee. Now, I want to see all of the egg cooked before I flip it. It may fall apart. Like I say, it was an experiment. I'm not sure if using the egg yolk or the egg white, whatever you call it, the egg white, would keep it together more. But I'm thinking that the oil is going to keep it together more. I'm going to turn it up just a little bit, maybe a little bit too low. No hurry. I hope you're enjoying it. Hope you enjoy cooking. Hope you enjoy eating. You see that okay? Yeah, that's a good shot of it. I'm going to turn it up a little bit. So, again, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. A lot of people skip it. So then you don't have the energy to go throughout the day. So about noon, you're about ready to call it a day. Quit. Let's see what happens on the first one. Looks to me like it's holding together pretty well. You see that? And get as much as you can on the flip. And here it goes. Flip. Not bad. For my first attempt. It kind of looks like a nest egg. As it should. And there we go. Yeah, that's not bad. For a beginner, you got the onion in there, the jalapeno. Cook that through. And I think we have a successful operation here. Enjoy the day, everyone. Thanks for watching. And be fantastic. Be kind to yourself, all others, and the planet. So it's Friday, the 9th of June, 2023, and we're going to go up north to Margaritaville and maybe a few other places. Just on the spur of the moment, we decided to go there. This is the road. It's a one-lane road that goes 12 miles up north. It's pretty amazing. So join us. There was absolutely no traffic, so we parked, jumped in the water. Dog jumped in the water. It was warm water. It was literally hot water. A little bit of sargassum, not too much. The smell, and of course the smell wasn't bad. This was, what are these things called here? What are they called?
What?
They called?
Well, we were about
EBs,
8 or 10
IBIS.
miles north.
EBs,
and we are
yes, and
going
that was the largest,
so as far north as we can
thing she
to
saw.
where the reef meets the shore. It's an adventure. So we've run against a gaggle of, what are they?
Gaggle of EBs.
Of EBs.
It's like they look like toff.
Yeah, they're feeding. Very nice. Well, after a couple hour drive on an amazing road, as you might have seen there, we are in Margaritaville. So I think a margarita sounds in order. We'll see. It's the sandbar. So check this out, what they do with the margaritas. Now take it apart. Show us.
Margaritaville.
Yeah, and, well, I know. That's where we're at, Margaritaville. Show us how it's taken apart.
So, this crafting technique involves
So you invert the lime. That's really pretty cool.
and the coconut
Okay, we got to do that. That's pretty
and
brilliant.
a sliver.
Did you invent that, young man?
Not really, I wish though.
Yeah. And my frozen margarita looks like a dragon. I don't know. It's pretty cool. So if you've made it this far into the video, you've known we've gone through a lot of jungle. It's a one-way highway that you can only go 2 miles an hour. It's actually faster to walk than you go on the golf cart. And you saw these incredible margaritas at Margaritaville. I'm not sure how many different designs you have with the lime.
Several of them.
How many?
Uncomfortable, I guess.
That's 2.
Yeah.
More?
Maybe about several more, yeah.
Several more.
Yeah.
Okay. So they have several more from these. So I'm going to say 5, but it's pretty cool. You know, and we're in Margaritaville, which is way north, but there's lots north to go, so we'll see what happens. Life in Belize.
Cheers.
And of course, Lulu joined us.
So here we are today. It's Friday. I woke up. I wanted to go to the beach. I didn't want to go to the secret beach. I wanted to go to my own beach. We decided to take the road north, and woo, has it changed. It is a obstacle course now to get where you're going to go. You can't just drive down the beach anymore. I don't know if people know this or not, but obviously I hadn't been in a while. But I made it to Margaritaville. We're here. It's beautiful. Great service. Great people. The view's gorgeous. The property's just gorgeous. My dog's walking around having a good time with the other
Lulu
dogs.
had a great time.
Yeah.
There's a little sand pit with obviously a fire pit, and there's the view, Margaritaville. When you go to Belize, you got to check out Margaritaville and have a margarita on me.